Hello there, Collins Peru here. Thank you so much. I'm really grateful that you could find time to join me. For those ones who are joining me for the first time, I just want to say karibuni sana. Welcome, welcome, welcome. For those ones who are veterans, thank you so much. I do not take your support for granted, and I just want to say thank you so much. May God richly bless you. Today I continue with the part that I started on work spouses, and today I'm telling us on measures that you can take to avoid to find yourself in a work spouse kind of relationship at the workplace. In my last sharing, I said that 3 things must happen for you to find yourself into a work spouse relationship, or for intimacy to crop between 2 adults. That there must be proximity. So how do you kill proximity? So that to ensure you do not find yourself in a situation where you're getting a work spouse at the workplace. That means that the physical distance needs to be defined. The physical distance between you and your colleagues need to be reduced. If you're working together, it is very important that you draw that line on how close you can come to each other. It is also important that even when you're doing lunches and dinners with colleagues, don't single it out to only 2 of you. You can invite a 3rd person into that discussion, or into that dinner, or into that lunch, and by doing so, you are actually reducing the proximity to each other. At the workplace, it's also important that we have boundaries. That as professionals, we'll set the boundaries and make them very clear on what can be crossed and what cannot be crossed. These boundaries are established by you as an individual to the other person that you feel probably, chances are we might drift and find ourselves into a relationship that might affect our other relationships at home or our marriages at home. That boundary needs to be verbalized, that your colleague understands this is what is happening, or this is what is bound to happen, and these are the boundaries that I'm putting. Sounds off, but it's very important that we be very deliberate about this. It will be very important that we also avoid jokes and passes on each other that might have a personal and a very sexual connotation to it, and goes into affecting the other person or making the other person to react in a way or in a manner that will start or spark some embers within you, and before you know it, you want to pursue it further. And then lastly, and very important, it is paramount that we also try as much as possible to share whatever it is that we are going through at the workplace with our spouses at home, or people we are in relationship with away from work. That way, we give them an opportunity to be part and parcel of what is happening around us. For our work spouse, how it develops is we share various things together, and so we become familiar. So it is very important that we start making our spouses at home familiar with what we are doing at work, so that way they can share in our agonies, they can share in our successes, they can share also in our failures. But you are also opening that familiarity to them, so that you do not confine your familiarity with someone at the workplace, and before you know it, it has cropped to something bigger that is actually destroying now your marriage, or is destroying your relationship at home. I believe that if we were to put some of these measures in place, we are able to cordon our marriages and our relationship off from work spouses and having extramarital affairs that are bound to harm our marriages. And so my prayer and my hope is that each and every one of us would, in their small ways, do their part as professionals in terms of putting that boundary and ensuring that they avoid situations and circumstances that might expose them to work spouses and expose them and actually destroy their marriages or their relationships. That is information that I thought you should know. My name is Collins Peru, and thank you for listening.